Hello, my name is Dr. Maya Byfield. My business is The Phenomenal STEMist. I'm so excited to be here in Orange County because it's where I live. I live in Apopka, Florida. And I decided to make this business because I saw a need for underrepresented students to be successful in STEM, which stands for science, technology, engineering, math. And the best way I can do that is just provide products for parents to prepare them, whether it's a book or online STEM camps or just video podcasting. My goal is to transform this community, especially those who are underrepresented. And the way to do that is to help parents understand their children's minds and basically develop them at different stages of their lives to be prepared for a successful STEM career. Thank you so much. That's why I'm here.
Hey y'all. Hey y'all. It's the phenomenal STEMist. How y'all doing? How is everybody doing? Come on in the room. Hey, I have a guest with me. The same old, same old. I got, Bryant, Bryant, and Kamoy. But I have a special guest with me. His name is Ruben John. He is a computer scientist. He is a tech analyst for a large hospital system here in Orlando, Florida. And he's my friend. Cool dude. Ruben, what's going on? Welcome, Ruben, to the crew, guys.
Thank you. Thank you. so, 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 so this is what you're doing on Sundays.
This is what I do on Sunday. Just once a month.
All
Just
right.
once a month on Sundays at from 12 to 1 is
All
what
right.
I'm doing.
Cool.
And hopefully this is what you can do from time to time. Listen, I'm excited
Sure.
for you to be here. Awesome, awesome. Hey, Kamoy. Hey, Bryant. How y'all doing?
I'm good.
Good. You're okay, Bryant? Well, I'm glad you guys can make it.
Also,
So. He's so. Um, don't forget to subscribe to the YouTube channel, everybody. We have an awesome conversation to hit today. And truthfully, Howard couldn't make it. And I was like, who could take Howard's place today? And you came to mind, Ruben. We're talking about credentials that move the needle, degrees, certificates, and stackable pathways. And so there's this big thing right now in higher education, especially at the community college level, where we're trying to get students opportunities to think beyond just getting a degree. Degrees are important. That's why I put degrees, certificates, stackable pathways. They are important. But more and more these days, institutions are starting to say we are looking more for skill set than degrees. And so now everybody's talking about, oh, I don't need a college degree. I don't need a 4-year degree, yada, 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 yada. I just need a stackable pathway or I just need certification. And what better person to be on board, Ruben, is somebody who has both, right? He's a computer scientist. And I know that in computer science, to make it, it's not just about degrees. You're going to need certifications in certain things. So thank you for joining. And we're going to really jump in now. So the first question I have is looking back, what credential, whether it be a degree, certification, license, specialized training, most significantly changed the trajectory of your career and why? What was it?
Am I the first to answer?
Sure, if you want to. I'm usually I'm the first because there's usually pauses with the other two.
Okay.
But but yay, please. Which one do you think changed your trajectory?
So yeah, I'd have to say the Microsoft certs. I did. There was a school here in Orlando. I'm not sure if they're still around, but New Horizons, and I took a MCSE certification, and it kind of timed up right in time when and so the certification was there, and I got a recommendation from a friend for a contract at Lockheed Martin, and I think that kind of jumped that off where I had the credentials to get that job, and so it allowed me to step into that role. I was there for a couple years and was able to then jump into some other things. So I think that that certification definitely was helpful. I was looking to augment my education, so it was just I got it, and then a role opened up, and so stepped right into that.
And that's good to know because you have a degree from a good school, right? You went to
University of Miami.
University of Miami,
Yeah,
right? Got
yeah,
a bachelor's degree in
yeah,
computer science,
yeah,
right? So it's
yeah,
not like you don't have it. And I'm sure if it was just certification, maybe they wouldn't have looked at you twice. But the fact that you had to have both.
yeah.
So especially for computer scientists, you can't just rely on your degree.
Yeah.
Anybody else? What was it? Was it your degree, your certification, your license?
Before I answer, I got a question. When we say the University of Miami, does everyone have to put up the U?
Yeah, it's
Is
just
that a
so that you
requirement?
know it's just so that you know that it's the University of Miami and not the other
Oh, the
places that
Ohio
came out.
one.
Yeah, the
I don't think
Ohio one.
anyone thinks about that, but okay,
Yeah.
that's fine. I'll say for me, I mean, I'm government, so it was getting a master's.
Mm.
Just having a bachelor's at the time, and this was 2000s, the early 2000s. That was cool and all. If you wanted to work, you know, maybe in a private industry, but in the government, to really get forward and also being a person of color. Um, I realized that I needed to get a master's. So it didn't matter what the master's was in because I was in public health. I thought like, do I need to get a public health master? It was like, no, you just need to show that you are willing to continue to learn past what is required. And so I just got a master's in human resources management and just had to learn about public health going forward. But I wish I would have taken a lot more computer courses just because of where we are now
Yeah.
and just how technology has just grown exponentially. Because we're finding out there's a lot of ways that technology is infiltrating every job that's out there. So
Love it, love it. Um, I would say the masters as well. So my path was biology, um, and by a bachelor's degree in biology. Then I got into graduate school, which was a PhD program. But in the first 2 years, you go through a comprehensive exam and you get a master's degree in biomedical sciences. And so I feel like some people left after the master's degree in biomedical sciences and got great jobs in the pharmaceutical company. And if I had left with my master's degree in biomedical sciences, I may have still been teaching, gotten a good job at a community college. You don't need a PhD to teach at a community college. As a black woman, I feel like I had to go all the way because I had to knock them out the park. And so I think it all depends too as well. I think as an African American woman, you just got to be above and beyond everybody just to stay like we cannot not hire her. She has a PhD, she has a postdoc in neuroscience, like so I think a lot of people who says we don't got to do this, I got to do this, I don't think they're taking in consideration the color of their skin and the racism in this country. But I do agree with Bryant that if I had stopped at the masters in biomedical sciences, I could have gotten good opportunities. Probably even better opportunities at the level of a pharmaceutical company because they're more likely to hire, I think, people with master's degrees because unless you're going to run labs and run institutions with the PhD, you're kind of overqualified for, regular scientist, tech scientist jobs. So master's is enough to pop me off. What about you, Kamoy?
Medicine's a little different.
Mm-hmm.
Because yeah, even though I went and got a whole doctoral degree, MD, you can't do anything with that unless you get into residency.
That's right.
So getting into residency was the big deal, and that unfortunately is a struggle for some people, especially for our people. I know that we match at a much lower rate than others into a residency spot, but without that residency, you cannot practice medicine in the United States. So that is what changed everything. Because once you are able to complete residency, you have a lot more opportunities. Whether you decide to go clinical or not, the opportunities are endless at that point.
That's critical to hear because, people get joyful once they get into medical school. People get joyful once they graduate medical school. Listen, matching is critical.
Critical.
Matching is critical because you can't get a license without matching, correct?
Um,
Can you get a medical license?
you can, that is correct. You start the licensing process in medical school because it's 3 different exams, 3 steps. So
Mhm.
you take the first in medical school, and then the second as well, but right before you graduate, or when you're applying for residency. And then the third step is when you take that during residency, and that's when you get your license.
Yeah. So to me, it's licensure.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah, licensure. You can have an MD all you want if you don't have the license to practice.
It means nothing. Yep.
Yeah, that's
I shouldn't
critical.
say, but it's just very different. You can't practice medicine.
You
It's
can't practice medicine. You can do science though. There are a lot of MDs that go into to run a lab. I'm not so sure it's because he didn't match. Like my mentor was a MD. He ran my lab and he moved all the way up in Albert Einstein College of Medicine. I think he's the dean. So there's pathways. I want to give hope to people who are not matching, but just know that if you want to practice medicine, you have to have a license. Look like you have a question, Bryant.
I do. This is a special Bryant moment where we go totally off script.
Okay.
Is there any type of documentation that says, if you want this job, you just need this? Stop doing all the extra stuff because it's going to put you in a position where you're overly qualified and you just get skipped over. Is for the 3 of you, is there any type of document? Was there the pathway that said, okay, you just need these 5 certifications. Don't get this 6th one because that's just it's gonna put you in a gray area and make you unmarketable.
Nope. You just learn by experience, and hopefully somebody can guide you. Like I just gave that advice just now, saying, listen, if you don't want to go into academia, if you don't want to be a professor running a laboratory, running an institution, being in academia, don't just go get a PhD just to say you want to be called Dr. Byfield. You know what I'm saying? And don't waste your time. Speaking of which, check out my prototype. Let me get us in here. Like, I do have an app where I give guidance on career trajectories and opportunities in a post AI society of certain types of jobs that you can do, and the kind of degrees that you need. So thanks for that segue. Thanks.
Stop using me. Stop using me. Everybody on the internet can see this. Stop using
that's
me.
why you're here.
I know, right? I still don't know where my degree fits in with this.
Yeah. So you're asking not to get extra stuff. So when I think about it, looking at my career, looking at others, the extra stuff doesn't hurt. But I hear like, you could be overqualified. Well, if you're applying for something, just list what is applicable. And then the other side, you don't want to just go out there and just get every cert possible. So I've had to, and so in my current role, I don't manage people, but in my previous role, I did. and we had this journey. So we did set up these pathways. If you want to get promoted, you need to meet these metrics and these qualifications, these certifications, right? So yes, meeting them doesn't automatically get you promoted, but having that at least puts you in the conversation. But when we're really promoting people, we're looking for those that have gone a little bit above and beyond. We're looking for those that showed initiative. Like there's one guy that got hired strictly because he was just the first one to go get it. And
Mm.
we said, hey, everybody, you need to get this, and he just out of his own time. Now, as managers, we did set up time to give everybody the opportunity to say, hey, we're going to set aside an hour a day. This is your time to study. We're going to have study groups after work. Here's this club, giving you all the resources, so that, because ultimately it was leading to where there would be job, I guess, realignment. And if you didn't meet those qualifications, you may get demoted or you may not qualify to fit in your job. So, you know, the director that we had and the leader that we had at the time, he knew this way ahead of the time. So we started this process way before it was even put anyone in a problem zone. So by the time they made announcements, everybody was already in position to do that. And so some may have had more than their current job, but when promotion time came around, those that were already fitting that role were already eligible, and slots
Got it.
were able to be provided for them. Now, I do understand, like, if you have, you're not going to go apply for McDonald's with a doctorate. But if you're going to go apply for a position that you might be overqualified for, you need to highlight the parts that fit that role.
That's good. That's good. And more now, like I have my resume now, I've cut it down. Like back in the days, you want to put everything in. Like when I put stuff in for consultancy, I want to do something for as a consultant. I cut a lot of stuff out and just put targeted one page resumes now, with just the skill sets, just the skill set. Like I built an app. You know what I'm saying? Like that's a skill set.
Is that the key word today? App. Yeah. If I'm hungry, I'm just gonna say I want an appetizer. Come
I
on,
need
stop.
people to check out this app here. Check out my prototype. I'm really trying to really help people um find their gifts in STEM and their talent in STEM. So but yeah, that I think that's so true. Here's my next question. There's growing debate about traditional degrees versus shorter term credentials. When do certificates and stackable opportunities or credentials create opportunity? And then when is a full degree important? Like, this is big because not, I mean, people don't want to go to school no more. I mean, they're like, I don't need it. I don't need a degree. They keep telling people they don't need a degree. All they need are short term credentials. So they're taking all these short term boot camps kind of things. They get their what do they call it? Badges now. They put the badges on LinkedIn. Like, is it working for real? For real?
My assumption with that is that they're not looking for leadership positions. They're looking for like they'll call it assembly line, even though it's not. I want to make sure I'm not disparaging anybody's certificates, but it's more of, can you just do the work? We're not expecting you to lead a team, but can you complete a task? So if it's task based jobs, then yeah, having a degree, getting paying that student loans or however you have to pay for it in order to get it does not seem to weigh evenly when most of the jobs that are available now are just task based. During our time, we didn't have task based. It was, you just need to do better than high school. Now and then after we left, people said you got to do better than college. You got to have grad. Now, now that again, I think as the baby boomers are retiring, we're the next ones up.
Mm-hmm.
And so we have those degrees, those leadership experiences. We can manage the different emotions, the different like needs of a staff. But the job needs someone that is really, I'll say, thirsty to try to get the job done. And by going after these certificates, you're showing that you're about business, about getting stuff done quickly in the most efficient manner, especially with these tasks now coming. So
But a lot of tasks, they say a lot of task based jobs are going to be taken over by AI agents,
Hmm.
right? So
Yeah.
so like a lot of the jobs that are future ready for AI, like they involve higher education. They involve critical thinking, management, people, medicine, nursing, like unless it's trades, which involve a different type of certification. But I don't know. Go ahead, Ruben.
Yeah, so what I was gonna say is what is your goal? Like you mentioned, if you want to be in leadership, there's those degrees are gonna come in handy. And like I could say for where I am now, yeah, you're gonna need to get an advanced degree. And it doesn't matter what it's in. It's usually something like organizational leadership, mass MBAs. So because it's a business at the end of the day, so they want people that understand what that is to lead that organization or to lead that segment of the company. So if you're just happy with, okay, I've got this cert, I can do this, and you're okay with doing that forever until you find the next cert that you want to do something, yeah, that's fine. And you mentioned like with trades, because trades, even their skill set, you don't just get to become the, leading a construction project without having to, understanding what it takes to start, pouring concrete or whatever, putting the wood together, whatever it is, you still got to know how to do that, and you got to be qualified in doing that. So like okay, another thing, like with project managers, everybody, there's a lot of people that's like, oh, I'm going to be a project manager. Well, whatever field you're managing that project in, you still have to know something about it. So just getting like that PMP certification, for example, doesn't say, okay, you can go lead an IT project. You might have to lead a project in, I'm gonna use the McDonald's example, in opening up restaurants. That's a different type of project management than an IT project, especially like, so I work for a hospital organization, and even in that, there's IT project managers, there's the general project manager, there's a construction project manager, because all those aspects need some form of
Different.
specialty to lead that part to get it complete, and all those PMs have to work together to get it to the end. And so yeah, it's a little bit of both, but it's ultimately what do you want to get out of your career, and where do you see yourself heading? You may not start off wanting to be a leader, but if you want to be a leader, you're going to have to get an advanced degree, and there may be certifications that can get you there, but usually it's going to be something that you're going to have to go spend some time on. So
Both and especially for us, because they've been telling about this from Cosby Show or before Cosby Show, Malcolm X. You don't have to go to law school, just be a carpenter. Or I just want to be like regular people. This is nothing new, okay? And they target us to just do these kind of jobs, but what happens is we can't go past a certain level. You have to have both, in my opinion. It's like both, and because trust, when you are 60, you don't want to be doing HVAC, like the hard labor of HVAC. You want to own a HVAC company. You want to be in leadership of you understand? And that will require more than just the task on, right? Come on, you've been quiet. What do you think?
I mean, I think there's no debate, particularly in medicine. You don't have the degree, you can't. If you don't have the degree, and if you don't have the clinical training, you can't do it. So there's no like, what certification you're gonna go and get to be a nurse or a doctor, or any of these skill based, or these professional degree based jobs. You can't. So I don't think there's any debate there with
No
medicine.
debate. And these are the AI ready jobs. Even though they're trying to say that medicine is going to lose a lot of, AI is going to take over a lot of medical jobs. Listen, listen. When it happens, we'll see. Maybe,
Exactly.
maybe radiology. They say maybe like they. To me, right now, guys, anything that they target us with and say, "Oh, don't do this, don't do this." Meanwhile, they putting their kids. They're spending big money on consultants to get their kids in Ivy League. They're still pushing it. Okay, so they're trying to get you to stop going to school. They're trying to get you to stop reading. But listen, don't give up on this thing. They're trying to get you to stop trying to get into government jobs. But next thing you know, they're firing a whole bunch of people in government jobs, and then a whole bunch of people coming in, like with lesser qualifications. Listen, I'm sorry, I gotta watch what I'm saying with this worker right here. But
I'm a snitch. How about that?
listen, don't. But to Ruben's point, I think it's a both and. You can't rely only on a degree. Like for me personally, my degree got me my job at my minimal pay. My skill set through learning of different, like I did AI training, I got AI certifications. That has taken me to learn new skills that can help me in my other ventures for other lucrative options to grow. So you never stop learning. All right. You want to say something? Go ahead. Say something, Brian. You want to say something?
Something. Yeah, so it's about diversifying. Just as we talking about like diversifying your portfolio, having various assets. In this work environment now, you're going to have to diversify. Back then for us, it was probably just have a savings account. That was slow, steady growth, which was
Right.
having a bachelor's degree. Then we realized that wasn't enough. So we had to take some of that from the savings and purchase property so that we could have another stream of possible income if we needed it in our home equity. Then we realized that, okay, stocks are safe. We should try that. Then we realized about investment. Yep, some of them are safe. And then investment. So what we're trying to get those who are coming behind us to realize is that one way is not the only way to get to the finish line. That road what happens if the housing market crashes again, and people are underwater, their stocks might be okay. What happens if the stock market crash? You still got your savings account. What happens if, the banking system crashes? You still have the ability to leverage your skills and resources in a bartering system. Yeah. Every podcast that this has had, it's been about diversifying and finding different pathways in order to get there. This is no different. Certs is just another pathway in order to ensure that you have options in the event that you need them.
Yep. So important. And what I will also say, when I say when is a full degree essential, full degree is essential for higher leadership and moving higher up the ladder. That's what we will say. Which degree matters too, right? As well as, people feel like you have to go to certain schools to do it and put yourself in certain levels of debt to do it. That is where I feel like, and I always go back to Kamoy because I love her story, right? She went to a state college to get her degrees. Okay, so she went like, you can go to if you work hard and get straight A's in biology, we teach chemistry, we teach organic, we teach physics at our state college. You now more than ever, you get a health science. Even that, you don't even have to do biology degree anymore. You could just get a health science degree straight from a small institution. Go to school for free, do research, develop an app. Now, listen, you can develop an app so easy right now. Speaking of apps, I need you guys to check out this app. It's TenYearMe. It's really, really, really good. Find out what your gifts are. But think about it. If you want to solve a problem in your community, for instance, my problem is I don't think enough people know what they can do in STEM based on their talents. My problem is that people don't know what kind of careers they can choose based on their lack of knowledge. So I built an app to give them that knowledge, right? But you want to go to medical school, and you know that in rural communities there's people that have issues with finding the proper hospitals. You can create an app for free and start promoting it in your community, get people to use it. You put that on your medical school application. If you put that on your, if you say, if you do all really well in school, you get the basics for medical school, which is the biologies, the organics, the general chems, and the physics. You have your bachelor's degree, and you do research, and you develop an app that helps the rural community increase healthcare outcomes. I guarantee you'll get into medical school, and of course you get a good MCAT score. Please, you think it's because you went to Harvard? It won't matter. The go ahead, you go ahead, Ruben.
Yeah, yeah. So I think there was a time where it mattered what school you went to, but you're
Yeah,
right. Today, everyone has access to almost all the same information. So now it's about, I think your community is a good focus. Like, you can help your community by figuring out how to solve a problem, right?
yeah,
And solving that problem is probably more effective for you and those around you than saying, I went to this place.
yep,
Because where you went to that place, it's just so you can say you went there. But now, like, I'm thinking about, I have younger nieces and nephews, and one of them mentioned they want to be a YouTuber. But I'm like, what are you going to talk about if you don't have any experience? If you don't have something that you want to share that um, then what is the point of that? But on the other hand, I have one of my wife's friends. This kid's in high school, and his dad's in finance, but he started learning how to invest, and now he has a channel talking about investments with young people. And so you see, you have to have something that that you can share a skill about. And so I think, yes, if you have a problem that you can solve, that you're talking about getting into med school, that's putting you, I think, ahead of the game. I mean, even with our organization, you don't have to be like the most tech savvy provider or physician, but you have to kind of be aware of how to use the technology, because that's where we're headed. The technology is going to be engaged in the operations of providing healthcare today. And so, we're having what we call like a smart room, where the provider is going to be able to go into the room remotely. There's, the AI involved with providing some stats and analytics, but they're going into that room knowing a lot more about that patient. They
yeah,
can they can see more patients, because you still need that, personal care. And then if they have to, they are going into the bedside, but they're coming in well more informed before these days than they were before. So
yeah. Back to the concept of both and.
yeah.
Yeah, you gotta learn how to use the new technology, so people who, especially high skilled people, won't lose their jobs to AI, but they'll lose their jobs to people who know how to use AI really, really well to increase outcomes. Um, Next question. Many learners are trying to balance. I'm sorry. Many learners are trying to upskill while balancing work and life. What credential pathways have you seen offer the best return on investment in terms of time, cost, and career mobility? Do you What have you guys tried to do things outside of your day-to-day work, and what has worked for you? I'll go first with this one. So I got an AI certification. I'm a part of this organization called AIM Ahead, Artificial Intelligence, Machine Learning, for the enhancement of healthcare, health disparities, right? And so I'm studying how to use AI um, to empower communities with health disparities. And they just had a whole bunch of videos. You take watch the videos on your own time, and so I did it in a semester. Just watch the video a day, did like maybe a quiz a day, and it was so easy. I feel like these kind of certifications, some of them are really, really easy if you just take the time to say, I'm going to do an hour a day, and in 3 months you have certifications. It's not as hard as other like computer science ones where you're going to be heavily tested and you have to study, like that might be a little harder. But a lot of these badges and certifications with, especially in AI, it's not that difficult. What about you guys? Um
I can speak to this a little bit.
uh,
So like in your industry, like you can get industry certs, like even some of the tools you use. So I was speaking about Microsoft before, but like once you have, like if your company uses whatever product it is out there, if they're Google or Amazon or Microsoft, heavy, you learn certs from that vendor, and that puts you in a position because now you're qualified in using those tools for the
for your
company.
job.
But those certs you can take with you because they're your certs. So I have a background in biomedical, so clinical engineering or biomedical. So think more like the devices, not so much the development of the equipment, but maintaining the devices. But each of those schools, so like if you work on like in a cath lab, there's a technician that has to go to school to learn how to repair that device. And that person can work for the hospital or they can work for the vendor. But when you take those trainings, those are your trainings, and you can take them to any vendor, to any employer, and you're qualified to work on that equipment. Uh, and same thing for like in your career, like I have the cert with him, so that's just part of the healthcare organizations, and so that's more watching videos, just staying current on the topics that they're talking about, not so heavily on calculating how to do something, but more just being informed on what's going on in
Being
the
informed.
industry and staying current and up to pace. So
Yeah, a lot of these pathways are staying informed. It's not as hard as you think, and it's not as time consuming as you think. Now, let me ask you guys, Kamoy and Brian. I know you guys are so settled in your great jobs, right? So, are you even interested in credentialing further? Especially people who've been in school all their lives, it feels like. Go ahead.
I am out the rat race, boy. I am out of that rat race. And listen, I have some amazing friends who did the same residency as I did and went on to do certification in obesity medicine or decided to do addiction medicine or Dr. Harris is done.
And there's nothing wrong with that.
Yeah. But I'm also content with, I love seeing patients. I'm 100% clinical. I do some teaching with residents at my program. So there's some academia involved, but I'm very content with where I am. So I'm not looking for extra, but I also, like you said, I spent so much time in school, right? It
Yeah.
took me 15 years to get to where I am now. So I am just like, but there, if people were looking to, do other things, pull back clinically and do other things, yes, I do have people who went and got an MBA because they wanted to be more on the business side of medicine, be more involved in, the administrative side. I definitely know people who've done that. I'm out.
So that
Satisfied.
so you got to know yourself and know where you're trying to go. If you're cool with just seeing patients, then you got to do it on the front end. You got to do all your learning on the front end. But once you're done, you're done. And now it's about practice. You're practicing medicine. And you're practicing medicine for as long as you want, as far as you want. But if you want to shift or do something different, run a hospital versus practice medicine, then you're going to have to move. And you got to know yourself. And Kamoy knows herself. She's like, I'm good. I'm good. Brian, what about you?
I just learned to program a VCR.
Those
what's that?
still exist.
What, what's what's
I'm
that?
I'm dating myself and how old my
Oh,
mindset is. No, for me, I mean, the largest job in my area, because I'm the only one outside of the warm country or warm state of Florida, uh, in here in the district, is the federal government. And so there are some certifications. Usually it's about managing contracts. I did have a core level 2 certification. I let it lapse because I transitioned to jobs that had no contracts. I was like, do I need to keep this? They were like, nah, you're good. I wish I would have kept it, just because it does make, there's only but so many people out there that are certified to do that. And that's a little bit of job security,
Mm.
somewhat. But I'm like, Kamoy, my brain is done. I'm comfortable where I am. Can influence people in a mentorship or in areas like this where I can pour into someone else my experiences and just stand back and let them make their own decisions. But yeah, I'm good. I'm
Mm-hmm.
gonna go back and watch these VHS cassettes, uh, on my standard definition TV, using those red, white, and yellow cables.
Listen, listen. Okay, you're cool, too cool for school and being right where you are. Here's my another
Just
question.
paid. Those student loans just got paid off. You trying to get me to have more?
But the beauty of it, some of these things don't cost anything. Like it didn't cost me anything to do my AI ML health disparity certification. It didn't cost me. It just cost me time. And but time and mental space and energy might be important energy to conserve for some people, and that's okay too. But to your point, yeah, don't put yourself in grave debt for it. I like that's a great point. So stick a pin. Many people, I did a brief on short term credentials and stackable pathways, and it's really up and down because some people charge over exorbitant fees for these boot camps and things like that, where you could probably go to a community college, get a Pell Grant, go to school for free, and get that same certification, right? And so be careful not to get caught up in the fads that people are advertising and then go into grave debt for these short-term credentials where you can actually do something different and one of my friends Simone says shortcuts get cut short, something like that. That's like a Jamaican phrase. Like, is that what? Am I saying it right? Come on, shortcuts get cut short. You get cut up when you try to get shortcuts, and next thing you know, you're cut short. So, be careful out there. Uh, Definitely don't pay a lot of money for school. All right, here we go. Here's the next question. How should students and working adults think strategically about stacking credentials, combining degrees, micro credentials, certifications, and experience in order to build a competitive career pathway? How should you go about doing it? I'll go first and then give y'all time to think. I think degrees are foundational. I'm sorry. I'm an academic. You're not gonna sh- shift me otherwise. Get at least an associate's degree, right? Finish an associate's degree. I have students that are trying to get, let's say, in the nursing program, and they are um just taking the classes that are required and trying to get. And I'm like, do you have your associates yet? No, I don't need it. I'm like, just get your. Suppose you don't get into the nursing program. But if you have your associate's degree and then you get certification to go on top of that, then you can start doing great jobs. I'm not necessarily asking people to get a PhD, but I feel like at an associate's degree level is at least minimum in a relevant field that people need those jobs in. Like you need jobs in healthcare, you need jobs in XYZ. Get the minimum of that. And then you can start stacking with certifications that are necessary for the jobs that you want, right? Certifications, not micro credentials, like things that is certified. Like I think that's more important sometimes than liberal arts degrees. Just getting a plain I'm just got a degree in liberal arts. What does that mean for somebody who needs a skill set? And then you can start depending on your growth for leadership. You could start deciding, okay, I want to get a master's in this and a master's in that, but make sure your job pays for it. Don't get into grave debt for it. That's what I would say. That would be my advice. Anybody? How would you tell students to strategically work?
I think you kind of summed it up because you got to start somewhere, and
Mhm.
like yeah, get that associates. I wish I had that advice before because yeah, you because let's say you need to work, you can take that and go get paid just for having that, and then build on that. It's not There's no requirement that says you have to get the degree in 4 years,
That's right.
3 years. So you can just keep building to where you need to go, depending on your situation. Now, if you have, the opportunity to say, hey, I'm just going to go straight, do 8 years, 12 years, whatever it is, and get the PhD, awesome.
That was
But
me.
yeah, so,
Yeah.
but once again, you still have the time. And similarly, I think certificates, because some of them build, and so you don't have to have the CCNA to start. You do have to start somewhere, so you have to get the foundational certs that build you up to that level. What I was going to say is thinking about I'm not making a plug for the school, but like WGU, Western Governors, their degree program gets you certs along the way. So as you start, they get you started, and your first year, you're gonna have some certs that you can take and do something with while you're still working towards a degree.
Yeah. Speaking of universities, my school has been in the news of late, and I want to talk a little bit about that because I feel that's where our focus needs to be. Like I feel like we're majoring in minors, fighting off of. I'm not gonna say what I think we're fighting off of, but like the future right now is critical. Like we need our students to be getting the education they need along with relevant certifications. Like f- playing outside is fun, but that don't need to be a high. To me, it's not important. In these streets, back in the days when I was in school, the dorm life and the college campus life was fun and it was great. We're in a new era of don't waste your 4 years on foolishness, but make sure like you're getting credentials while you are getting your degree.
Yeah. And I wanted to jump in here. That opportunity starts in high school these days. I have a kid, I was learning some of the kids I was coaching in basketball. He's already got an AC mechanic cert that he's going to graduate high school with. So
Yep.
it's a trade, but these are things that get you paid. He may
Yeah.
not be doing it forever, and it may be his passion. I'm not sure. But in high school today, you can leave high school with all kinds of certifications, or um, you can already be a college sophomore when you're done with high school,
Yeah.
and walking into as a freshman on campus, but you're already 2 years ahead of
You
everyone
have
else.
your associate degree, dual enrollment,
Yeah,
doing like don't wait. That's a great point. Um, Ruben, don't waste high school either. Get that LPN license. Get that CPA CNA license while you're in high school. Get that AC mechanic and 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 work and go to school if you have to. If you're in poverty, if you're like me, where you could go to school, take a few loans out, and go to school straight, that's important for me. But Brian, you look like you wanted to say something.
I I think we just need to apologize to those who were maybe even thinking about going to community college, getting an associates. Because I know when I was growing up, you hear associates and you think that they're second class. You're like,
Yep.
you don't need that. That's just giving up or not even trying. But now, as we fast forward 25, 30 plus years, we're now saying this is the route that you go because what we were sold a ceiling that has become a floor that
Yeah.
now has a rug on it that is being pulled out from under these children or these young adults that are behind us. And we're trying to tell them, like, hey, this ain't enough. And plus, it won't be the only thing out there. And they're not really hearing us because they've either we've overly glorified, certain college experiences and that you need to have be well rounded instead of college is there for you to learn. If you
Agree.
get some other stuff,
Period.
cool. But given how much it costs, how
Right.
certain schools are even putting kids through collections if
Yeah.
they're not
Yo.
paying their bills, if they are dropping them. I mean, a lot of this stuff is happening. And again, these young adults are having the mindset of, well, you owe me this. Just because I'm in school, you should give me these what is it? These concessions, and that's not the case. The world doesn't move that way. But we gotta apologize to those who may not have wanted to go to college, who decided to become a AC tech or a mechanic, or those individuals. They made a decision, and that decision has worked out for them. Those who, community colleges, we need to big them up. They're
Yeah.
there for a reason. It's probably a smarter move to take care of your prerequisites on the cheap and then
Yep.
transfer them over to, going to the U, going to OU, going to, state colleges. Save even more money, because at the end of the day, everyone's getting the same education.
Yep.
The
Yeah.
question is, how much it's costing you determines where you are looking to work, and even your earning potential, because now I gotta pay for all of this. And this person went what I called a lesser route,
Right.
doesn't have that um struggle, that debt, that, and affects their emotion, their physical health. Doctors are insulated out of this. You have to had to go a certain route. Now she went probably maybe not the most expensive, but there's certain things you can't shortcut that.
Avoid.
He
Yeah.
needs you. If you're going in that field, this ain't your conversation right now. But if for everyone else, we keep saying this, and we're going to say it until we have no breath. There is a better way, and what our parents told us and parents told us does not apply right now. Get it how you can. Diversify yourself, because it's no longer the ceiling, is no longer the floor. It is an unstable ground that can be pulled from under you.
Word.
Agreed.
Word. Last
Now bring that
question.
app up.
What you said? What you said?
I'm not going to say it again. See?
I missed it.
Yeah, those who are watching, they know what I said.
I'll rewatch it to see what you said. If you were advising someone today who wants to future proof their career in health, STEM, or social impact, what credential or pathway would you tell them to pursue first, and why? That question is kind of like the fourth one, but
I'll be quick. Join a community organization, because that's an opportunity to network, and you get to hear other people's, like, their passion on why they did it, and you build those grassroots relationships. You may not get the shade from that tree as you're planting that seed right now, but later on in life, those relationships will matter. That's it.
Yeah, I would have to agree with that. I think a lot of what I've learned is that community, getting part of organizations. Like, if you think of a young person in high school, you can join all these clubs, but which ones kind of, mean more to you? Which ones expose you to just different perspectives, so that you can see, okay, these are my options. These are how I can work. I mean, if you have somebody that's focused and you know exactly, hey, I'm going to be peds neurosurgeon, that's specific. So everything in your life is centered around that. But if you're not sure what you want, it is helpful to see other perspectives, because you want to do something. You may not be sure exactly what it is, but getting the skills that lead you to that pathway, or exposing yourself to others that may have done something differently, or seeing how they got to where they got to, will help you. And along that way, add things to your basically to your resume, to your list of skills that can translate no matter where you want to pivot to in the future. So, like you said, you got to plant those seeds, because it may not pay off right away, but it will be there for you in the future. And, like, going back to the previous questions, yeah, you don't have to pay the expensive route to get educated, especially today when there's so much stuff at your fingertips for free. I mean, you can literally go to school on Google and learn all kinds of different skills that you can use, to figure out what you still want to do next. But a lot of it is very inexpensive. And going to the community college, because at the end of the day, you can start at community college, and all you got to do is finish that last semester at wherever it is, and you could have a degree that says a lot more than than you actually paid for it. So
Yeah, yeah. I would find out my talent, my gift, number one. No, like no, what are you what are you good at? Like do this, this the wrong way. This
You know, I'm tired of this. I am leaving. This is the seventh time I done seen this.
Nah, seriously though, for real, for real.
Yeah.
I'm seriously though. I would find out what I'm gifted in, and I would find out future ready careers. That's why I created this thing. Seriously. So the first step is know what you're gifted in. Shout out to Brian, I had to leave. Know what you're gifted in. Know what the future relevant careers are, and then create a pathway plan to get to that. To get to that. Yeah, yeah.
And
agreed.
to that, I think that's probably, Ruben said it, and you just mentioned it. Like you have to, you don't want to be reinventing the wheel. It's
Yeah.
been before, and we've talked about this probably in every single podcast we've done. We've mentioned this. Get a mentor,
Mm.
get several mentors. Don't try to do this on your own. There's help available, and they can actually guide you, help you to avoid certain mistakes that either they made or were made by other people, and they actually help you to figure out what you want to do as well. Sometimes people just don't know,
Mhm.
and I think it's important to get some guidance. Don't go to Google and try to figure it out on your own.
On your own.
Yeah, I think you
Yeah.
need, some personal guidance from somebody who's been through the process and can actually give you good sound advice.
Yeah. And that's why college is so important because that's where many of them are. So
Correct.
that college is still needed. I think stackable pathways, micro credentials need to be happening in at the level of the community colleges, and we're actually starting to get involved in that, and we're trying to do it righteously as well because we don't want students to do something that still won't help them in the future. But there's this massive movement for we call it workforce Pell, where they're going to be using Pell grants to pay for short-term stackable pathways, not just for associate's degrees. And so the opportunities are going to be endless for people who are in poverty that need opportunities with the leg up. Don't get conned by the outside. Get into an institution of higher educational learning because we are nonprofit and there are passionate people who really want to help. Um, guys, it's been an awesome conversation. Ruben, you look like you wanted to say something. Did you want to say
No,
no?
no, no.
Okay.
Thank you for inviting me. Appreciate the time, and yeah, wish you all well.
Yeah. I am the phenomenal STEMist. And so are they. Good night, everybody. Wave at the